Mysuru is Karnataka's second largest city, with a population of nearly 10 lakhs. Another 33 lakh tourists visit this popular destination annually. So naturally, Mysuru generates a lot of garbage. 402 metric tons of solid waste in a day, equivalent to 40 large truckloads of garbage. The responsibility of disposing this waste and keeping the city clean falls on the Mysuru City Corporation, or the MCC. A challenge that the council has taken head-on and has emerged as a leader in solid waste management and sanitation. A testimony to this achievement is its top position out of 73 cities in India in the February 2016 Swachh Survection by the Ministry of Urban Development, Government of India.
ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ನಗರವಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿದೆ.
We are happy to get the award for the cleanest city in India. This is a result of the hard work put in by the elected representatives, officials and workers, the public, NGOs, SHGs and RWAs.
ನಗರ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ ನಾವು ಗಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
Mysuru City Corporation's methodology to waste management sets it apart from other cities by focusing on segregation of waste at source. But to understand why segregation is so important, let's see where this waste is generated. Of the 402 tons of waste generated each day in Mysuru, 319 tons or 79.35% comes from households. The remaining 83 tons or 20.65% comes from commercial establishments, hotels and restaurants, marriage halls, garden waste, sweeping, animal waste and Mysuru's 3 major markets. So the biggest challenge for the Mysuru municipality is to collect household waste efficiently.
We have in Mysuru City Corporation, we have 65 wards. In all the 65 wards, primary collection and secondary transportation we are doing daily from morning 6:30 to 2:30 p.m. Wet waste we are collecting daily. Dry waste we are collecting once in a week. Simultaneously we will do the collection from the households. After the collection we will put the waste in the secondary point. From the secondary point the vehicles transported to the compost plant.
Like every morning, the municipality's auto tippers are on their morning rounds, going door to door for garbage collection. For disposal, residents bring out 2 waste bins. The green one for wet waste and the red one for dry waste. These are emptied into the segregated compartments of the auto dipper.
The corporation has created awareness about segregation to the public. Because of this, the city will be clean. I separate the wet waste from the dry waste. And I'm also convincing my neighbors to segregate so that the city and our area will be kept clean.
To achieve the goal of near 100% waste segregation, the MCC has distributed 150,000 color-coded bins to households for segregation at source. A sustained campaign educating people is underway, the results of which are now visible.
Extensively we are doing since 2014 October, because the Swachh Bharat mission has come. We are doing extensive IEC activity to give awareness to the public regarding the segregation.
Once full, the auto dippers proceed to one of the 9 zero waste management units. Mysuru is trying to decentralize waste management, which really means that the waste is segregated and sorted closer to the source where it is generated, thus reducing operational costs and the quantity of garbage sent to the landfills.
We are not storing this wet waste that will directly go to the field and the rights used to this as manure to grow the paddy, sugarcane and all these things. Only the dry waste we used to segregate here, about 28 items we used to segregate here. This will be the model plant not only in Mysuru city, it is a model plant for the entire Karnataka.
The auto dippers empty the dry waste in the materials recovery center. Here, it is segregated into various categories, washed and dried before being packed and sold to the reprocessors.
Mysuru city is divided into 9 zones. Okay, each zone consists of one zero waste management unit. This zone consists of around 5 wards. Okay, all 5 wards generates around 5 to 6 tons of waste per day. So that waste is brought to here after source segregation. Here again secondary segregation is done. Wet waste is shredded by the shredder and it is sent for composting for 3 to 4 weeks. And then remains dry waste. This dry waste is again resegregated into 26 type of waste. All the plastics are mixed. 40 micron plastic, milk covers and then oil covers. There are of different thicknesses. Depending on thickness, we segregate the type plastics. So each type of plastic goes for different amounts. For example, milk cover goes to 4 rupees per kilo and then oil covers around 10 rupees per kilo. Likewise, we segregate and this waste is again sold out to recyclers. So nothing will be left at the end, both wet and dry waste. That's why this plant name is kept as Zero Waste Management Unit.
The wet waste is emptied in the composting units. The process of turning waste into organic manure takes 30 to 40 days. The MCC further sells it to farmers who collect it directly from the centers. It's only the non-recyclable material which is sent to the landfill. Some 200 tons of mixed waste reaches Mysuru's largest landfill for disposal. The process of segregation of wet waste and turning it into manure continues here. Trommels or machines which segregate waste based on size are used in 3 different stages to recover the organic material and turn it into manure, which is packed and then sold to farmers. As awareness has increased, the percentage of segregated household waste has gone up, and the MCC hopes to achieve a target of 80% by the end of 2016.
My sincere appeal is all the elected representatives of the towns, cities or mega cities, they must take this as a challenge. Otherwise, city has to face a problem. I appeal all the elected representatives to use, particularly in Mysuru city, we have constructed about 9 plants of this type in the entire city. All the 65 wards, all the waste should be sent to the what I call this decentralized plants, not to the sewage forum.
So let's review the waste segregation methodology used by the MCC. Identifying the source of waste. Separate modes of garbage collection for residential and commercial establishments. Door-to-door collection of household waste in all 65 wards of Mysuru. Mandated segregation of waste at source into 2 categories: wet waste collected daily and dry waste collected once a week. Distribution of red and green bins for segregating waste. Large-scale public awareness drive to segregate waste and keep the city clean. Decentralized waste management plan which includes 9 zero waste management units. Large-scale segregation and composting at the landfill. All these steps contribute in reducing air and water pollution, and naturally the result is a cleaner and healthier city. While the MCC is doing its share in waste segregation, corporate leadership has also contributed to the city's success, like Infosys Mysuru, which has achieved the target of zero waste to landfill sustainability. Infosys is one of India's top IT companies and a world leader in consulting, technology and outsourcing. The Infosys campus in Mysuru is a mini city spread over 350 acres with 12 million square feet of built-up area and more than 15,000 resident trainees and 11,000 employees and contract workers.
Infosys as a corporate organization is committed towards environment. We have been certified for ISO 14001, which is an environmental standard, and one of our objectives is prevention of pollution. So there is a huge amount of focus right from the top management towards this prevention of pollution and conservation of resources. So we have waste that is being generated from the source that gets sorted, and then we have different yards where the hazardous waste, the non-hazardous waste are treated, are stored and disposed to the authorized recyclers.
Being a large technology company as well as a residential campus, there is a lot of wear and tear of electronic equipment. All such products are brought to this facility. These are then segregated, categorized and stored. For example, electronic products like remotes, irons, wires, etc. Hazardous materials like batteries are carefully stored in a separate room and only given to state-authorized recyclers who have the relevant license or certification. With more than 20,000 people in the campus at any given time, Infosys generates a lot of waste. So the waste generated from the residential areas is segregated at source.
So at the rooms we have two different bins. One is for the dry waste and one is for the wet waste. So the trainee or the occupant of the room sorts the waste that is generated from the room into the colored bins. So the waste is disposed, and the houseman that goes into the room will collect the waste as segregated at the first source, and this forms the secondary segregation. So the trolley goes into all the rooms, collects the waste, takes it to the common scrapyard, that is the disposal center.
Then there are the cafeterias and a number of food courts which generate a lot of waste. So what happens to it?
All the wet waste what is generated from the kitchens, it basically the waste which is generated during the preparation and also the left out food. So all those things are routed to this biogas plant. We dispose the food waste generated and we generate out gas out of that, and we use it for our the cooking for purpose in our one of the kitchen.
Some of the waste like citrus peel-offs, like it is acidic in nature, we cannot put into the biogas plant. So those waste again we segregate it and route it to the organic waste composting unit. So what we do is we shred the waste first, and then we add with the cocoa peat powder, which contains some microbial media in that, which fastens the composting process. There is a ratio, like for 10 kgs of this waste we add 5 kgs of that cocoa peat powder. So we mix it and put it into the crate for curing purpose. So it takes around 15 days to convert that waste into the complete manure.
The last link to this chain is the recycling center, where the dry waste lands up.
In the dry waste we have the paper waste, we have the plastic waste. So when the the houseman goes into the room, so the waste is segregated and brought into this place. So when it is brought and segregated, we also have segregated yards for different kinds of wastes. So they come in and then they are placed at those demarcated places. So you have a different waste vendor for plastic, you have a different waste vendor for wood and cardboard. So you have a different waste vendor for a used oil. So respectively, the waste is segregated and disposed of.
So that's how Infosys has achieved its target of becoming a zero-waste campus, an inspirational model to be replicated by all institutions. It not only helps the environment but also saves as well as generates revenues.